I've had many heart-to-heart conversations with you, my dear audience. Well, this one's going to be a little different. Grab yourself a cup of coffee and let's sit down. I'm about to tell you the story of how I got into Minecraft. The year is 2012. I was sitting at home one evening and decided to watch some YouTube. I had done my homework, and it was the weekend, so I figured I'm gonna stay up late and just enjoy myself. While scrolling through YouTube, a very specific channel popped up, and I'm sure when I mention his name, you get a wave of nostalgia coming your way. Obviously, I'm talking about the man that raised a generation, inspired millions, including myself. Hell, I started to pretend being a YouTuber when I watched his videos, but more on that later. The legend in question, of course, is Stampy, the man with the most magnificent world that any kid dreamed of having. And for years I tried to get a copy of his world somehow. And don't get me wrong, I didn't want to be like him. I wanted to be him. So I hopped on the App Store, got myself Minecraft Pocket Edition with my pocket money, pun intended, and started playing. Getting used to the controls was easy enough. Obviously it's not as good as a controller, but it got the job done, and I was happy. I started building stuff. Obviously my builds were either utter garbage or outright copies of Stampy's builds. But 8-year-old me knew I have to get better at the game, so I hopped into survival mode after a while. I was afraid, and so I built myself a dirt hut and stayed there for days. I'd occasionally go out, kill a sheep or a cow, come home, make a painting with the wool I got from the sheep, and be happy in that little dirt shack that wasn't even worthy of the namesake, and stare at the painting all day. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was the one with the skull, the flaming skull. And man, it's been so long since I thought about those paintings. After a while, I started building courage to go out there, get resources, start crafting stuff, and actually making progress in the game. I remember my biggest project on Pocket Edition Minecraft back then was building a house out of cobblestone. I used to think getting 2 stacks of cobblestone is the biggest commitment one can have towards a game. I was fascinated by seeing those numbers in my inventory. I thought it was the best at the game back then. Now, it was around this time that I started making friends with the neighbors' kids, and I thought, you know what? Let's sit them down one day and explain, or at least tell them about Minecraft. So I did. I called them to my house one day. I said, guys, I found the best game on the planet. If you aren't playing this, you're missing out. I remember their reactions. They were curious. And so I gave them the name of the game. They installed it and we started playing. Connecting over our Wi-Fi, it was easy to share worlds, and we'd start building mansions together. And in case you're wondering, our definition of mansions was using diamond blocks, redstone blocks, gold blocks, and emerald to make a cube and call that a mansion. I'm sure you know the sort, and if you have played Minecraft in your lifetime ever, I'm sure that's the first thing you ever built as well. As for me and my friends, we'd look at that hideous cube and think it was the most luxurious mansion one could ever live in. We used to imagine our real-life houses like that. Being 8-year-olds, we didn't know any better, of course. Fast forward about a year, I'm watching Stampy's videos again on YouTube and doing basically anything he does. Sitting down and talking to myself in my room, pretending to make a YouTube video. I would talk for hours, fumble my words, and start all over again. And repeat the cycle 100 times, until I got the result I was happy with. Was there any recording? Absolutely not. I was talking for no reason whatsoever. But that's when I knew I had to be involved with YouTube in some way, shape, or form. I knew I had to. Fast forward to 2025. That same 8-year-old who was pretending to be a YouTuber actually started a channel and started posting. At that point, it was no longer pretending, because it was happening. Be it with bad quality, be it with internet blackouts or busted hardware, I still continued posting. I'd work in factories, come home tired enough to sleep like a bear, but I'd still force myself to stay up and get another video posted that day, because in my mind, I wasn't going to let the world take away that which I held dear, which was a dream I've had ever since I was 8. Now then, am I telling you this to motivate you? Absolutely not. I don't speak motivationese. Not a tongue I ever understood because I never had even a sliver of motivation in my lifetime, let alone when I started a channel. I moved forward with something else. Don't know what the name for that would be. But it definitely wasn't motivation, and quite frankly, I can't pretend to be a teacher now. Because much like every single one of you, this is my first life, so I'm bound to make mistakes. I'm bound to screw up. However, I suppose I tell stories because I want us to learn together. My dearest audience, the people behind the screen right now, each of you go through your own struggles and each are trying your absolute hardest in life, in different job sites, with different levels of pressure, and in possession of different levels of tolerance. All of you have taken time out of your days to watch videos of an amateur. I've been doing the YouTube gig for slightly more than a year now, and that reminds me, did you know it's already been a year since I made the channel? Crazy how time flies by. It feels like yesterday when I asked my cousin to lend me his laptop so I can record my very first video on it. And here I am today. My own setup, I can make videos as I please, move around as I please, and do as I please. I don't have to bend my schedule into anybody's will. I can do it whenever I like. I can choose to upload at 3 a.m. or 12 p.m. if I wanted to. And that sense of freedom is refreshing. Especially for me because I spent slightly less than half of my life trying to get what I wanted, not what the world forced upon me. And that brings us to today, gentlemen and ladies of the internet. Here we are sitting down and having a heart-to-heart without a care in the world, because unlike the rest of the people on this earth, you and I know that we have what it takes to make it. We have pushed until now, we can push even further. Today, I'm the happiest I've ever been. And you, my dearest audience, are one of the biggest reasons that contributes to that happiness. Some of you speak words that bring me to the verge of tears sometimes. The support has been surreal so far, and although you could have done anything with the time you spent watching these videos, you decided to be here, amongst a group of kind-hearted people, and listen to me talk. So thank you all. Every single one of you matters to me, and I don't say this enough. But you know I love you all. I know all of you out there have your own battles, and I would like to hear about your experiences as well in the comments. So if you find this tarnished mortal to be a safe space, then do consider telling me about your lives. I shouldn't always be the one talking, right? And if you decide to stay private, ain't nothing wrong with that. But I pray from the bottom of my heart that every single one of you makes it out there. I pray you also get to experience the same freedom as I, and I pray you get your life together. Because I know my audience deserves the best there is, and I know no matter what, my audience will have the best, because they're my audience. And I believe in them. Do consider subscribing if you enjoy these kinds of talks, because I do, knowing there is someone out there who listens. The other day I was talking to a friend of mine. Minecraft came up in the conversation and he said, I don't dislike the game, but I do find the pixelated graphics weird. And then I remembered the countless nights I played Minecraft to make myself feel better. The countless other times I rolled the end credits just to give myself a sense of accomplishment. And I remember the center of it all, the very thing that got me through the darkest days of my life. But I also remembered the fact that I also thought the pixelated, blocky graphics looked weird in the beginning too. I thought, who plays that? Not even capable of imagining that one day, I'd be playing it for an audience that's watching on the other side of the screen. I said nothing to my friend. I just handed him a controller, put him into a world in creative and said, try and build a house. He struggled with the controls a while. He was a beginner, of course. It took him around about 30 minutes to build a simple house. He threw a bed and a chest inside it and called it a day. But at the end of it, I asked him, are you proud of the building? And he said yes. And that's when he realized why people love a pixelated game so much. And quite frankly, Enjoying Minecraft is difficult because it takes a strong person to look beyond the pixelated graphics and see a game that feels like a home. In the end, he went straight home to download it on his own console and play the game. And for your final word of wisdom, let's look past the pixels and see the core of Minecraft, because Minecraft is a world in and of itself. If you have the courage to look past the pixels, and the same principle applies in life as well. Appearances can be deceiving, so what we need to do is look past those appearances and take a look within to connect. The day I felt weird about the graphics of the game was the day I decided to install it in spite of the graphics looking funny. If I hadn't made that decision, my life would be drastically different than what it is now. And I'm living proof of inner peace. And I guarantee you, it's all because of this blocky game that's made of pixels. Through that one decision, I managed to find a home in this game. And I'm sure to those who are watching and have no interest in the game, you can too. That being said, I yapped for far too long in this one. If you sat down and watched through the whole thing, you're seriously amazing, and your presence on this channel is very much welcome. But I'll leave you all with one last piece of advice. It is the nature of a thing that matters, not its form. And Minecraft's nature has always been being a sandbox, giving players the freedom to do whatever their heart desires. And so Minecraft might be a simple game made of pixels, but the core, the principle, is something not everyone understands. Now then, gentlemen and ladies, I'll leave you at the hands of the starry night once again. If you find it in you to drop a like, I'd be grateful. If not, your viewership is enough for us, and I'm grateful still. So I thank you all for watching, and I'll see you around.